that was a fast transition. I see David is here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, David. And good evening if you are watching this postscript, like I believe one of my subscribers, James Smith. I think that was it. His message has gone away once I started. But he was asking for another time to stream this because in the US here, if you are not me, or not retired and you work at this time of day, you are unable to participate. So I gotta mess with my camera here in just a sec. Hopefully it doesn't fall over. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, I was traveling this week, so the camera is a little still a little off kilter. I think it's a little crooked still. I hate that. Hate that. Let me try one more time. Actually, I don't think it's clipped in all the way. Sorry, technical difficulties. I'm going to go back to, what am I going to do? Let's go back to the desktop so you can't see me fumbling. You can look at the chat in case I have a tragedy and it falls over. Alright. It's fun. Fun with cameras. Alright. Let's see. Where were we? Webcam. I still think it's crooked. We'll go with that. Anyway, so good time for you, late afternoon, David. Yes, Archie, hello, good morning. Based on the misery map, looks like you might be getting a little weather back there. Maybe do it this time on a weekend for James. We could do that. Oh, we lost the mic. Is it back? If you could let me know. Microphone. I had to move out of the way to adjust my camera. Hopefully the mic has returned. Can you hear me now? It's back. Turning frigid, yeah. I saw that there was I saw a headline for a bunch of canceled flights. Yeah. So I'm hoping all the bad weather gets out of the way, gets out of the system before I get there. I looked at the forecast for White Plains next week, and it's like mid 40s, maybe up to 50. So thank you. Thank you for the. You can hear me. You can even hear the typing. Yeah, that's my really loud keyboard. It's very, if you like a clicky keyboard, it's very satisfying. It is a Razer. It's a Razer Huntsman, I think. Yeah, Razer Huntsman. It's very, very, very clicky. I like it a lot. Anyway, so back from Daytona, back from Florida. Pretty seamless traveling. Mostly, there were a couple delays, but where they happened didn't really seem to affect the trip very much. So that was good. So let us switch over to. Let's start with the misery map like we always do on these Fridays. Oh, and in terms of moving it, I don't think I'm going to have a stream. Maybe we'll do a Saturday stream next week. I will be traveling Monday through Friday of next week, and I think I'll be on an airplane at this time next Friday. So maybe I will schedule it. Let's plan on a next Saturday morning stream, and we'll see if James can pop in for that. If that will work better. Saturday mornings are fine around the house. if you read the earlier chats, I have two kids downstairs who like to do basically live on their streams and with their friends they do a lot of VR chat and stuff like that. So they take a lot of bandwidth for that, and I didn't expect that we'd have. Well, I've switched to a cable internet about about a year ago, and it's been a lot better since then. I had our local phone system CenturyLink DSL, and that was pretty crappy. So I started streaming once we switched to the cable modem. Rumor is that we're going to get fiber in our neighborhood here in the next. It's imminent. They tell me. They haven't given me a date yet, but I'm going to get fiber, and then I will have a lot less concerns about when I stream during the day. So the time may get adjusted, and I'm actually thinking about doing maybe twice a week. So maybe we do Saturday morning for those that are working, and then I don't know, Tuesday morning or something. I don't know. Stay tuned on that. I don't have any problem blathering on about travel and nerd stuff and anything. So let's start with the misery map, like we normally do. Based on the radar, there is a lot of weather moving through the United States right now. Chicago is still the winner. The weekly winner of delays is Chicago. So again, the lesson and my advice is never ever go through Chicago in the wintertime if you don't have to, unless that could be your destination. But I think that tends to ripple all over because it is a main hub, especially for United. And there's weather coming through the New York area, so looks like a little bit in Denver. I don't know why Denver would be having that many problems. Maybe Denver, being a United hub, is experiencing some of the Chicago problems. And in the New York area, we got LaGuardia is the winner of the New York area. So most of the delays look like they're coming out of LaGuardia. So let's see. Cancellation wise, China Eastern looks like Delta's having some sort of a issue. Lots of delays. 88 canceled flights for Delta. Lion Air, yep. Wings Abadi, we talked about them. Southwest, not surprised if there's weather moving through. Southwest is going to have lots of cancellations. SkyWest Alaska, interesting. So Jakarta in Indonesia. Portland, LaGuardia, Reno, interesting. Let's see. Whoa, hey, it moved. Why did it move? So no yellow or red dots in Europe. There's LaGuardia. Arrival delays of 48 minutes. Yikes. Let's see. Newark, 37 minutes, and JFK is fine. So odd. You got 3 airports that close together, and only one of them is having a big problem. Toronto Pearson, departure delays of 26 minutes. It's up to 15. That's good. Actually, it's Quebec. Montreal, 8. It was like 10 below last week, I think. That was pretty miserable. And let's see, LAX. So I'll be going through LAX on Monday and Tuesday. Departure delays. Probably raining and windy in Los Angeles. Oh. Well, actually, that would be why Reno. Looks like storm coming in. I don't know if that's tracking my way. I might be able to get a little storm action going on this weekend. All right. Chat check. Archie asks, how did I like the track? So, yes, I did tease the NASCAR edition today. Did I wear the NASCAR uniform? Only the hat. I got a new hat. My existing Kevin, this number 4, if you did not know, most of you probably don't. Number 4 is Kevin Harvick. So after my favorite driver retired back 20 years ago, I guess. It's been a while. I didn't have a driver for quite a while. I finally picked up Harvick along the way. I don't really know why. I think because people didn't like him. He has an ironic nickname of Happy, which I think is funny. So this is my only uniform piece. It is a trucker hat, so I've got the full America going on. The other one I did have, I think I've probably worn it on a stream before. It has a big American flag on it, but it's lived its life, and it's time for it to go away because it's kind of disgusting. So Archie did ask, how did I like the track? The track is, I've actually been to the track before. I think Archie and I think we might have talked about that at one point, but the track itself is immense. And if I go back for another event at the track, I would want to sit much higher. We were above the rail. We were above the rail. No, we were. Where were we? Let's look at some photos, and then we'll look at some video. Cancel, wrong drive. Let me get my photos up here. All right, so I was at Daytona International last year. I was actually in Florida for what I hoped was going to be the SLS NASA launch. Didn't turn out that way. There's a video about that if you're interested. Let me get a picture of the... Actually, this is a pretty good picture, because I can show you approximately where we were sitting. All right. So here is a picture of... This is me standing on the track, and for this particular race, we were sitting... my mouse doesn't show up. I have to figure out how to fix that up. How to describe where I'm sitting? Okay, so if you look at the canopy of the tram and the back upper corner, my seats were basically directly above that back upper corner up in the grandstand. I don't know how to get I need a pointer. I don't know how to get my mouse to show up. So we were about, if you can see this Sunoco sign on the left edge of the photo, it's just, all you can see is SUN, and there's a part of an arrow. If you follow that across, that's about the level that we were at. So let's just go to... so the regardless, the track is just, it's immense. It's stunningly large. All right, so here is a view. This is what it looked like from my seat. So this is the entry walkway below here. Let me move the chat over here. All right, so pit lane kind of down the center. That's the Sunoco sign. So we're a little bit higher than that. And you could see we're kind of in the what I would call the lower bowl, just above this kind of rail here. So I would like to be in the upper bowl for a future event if I was to go. I will say it is startling, and I think I mentioned that. I did a short video. It's startling the sound that the pack of cars make when they're going by. Television does not do it justice. There's my boy Harvick in the little pre-race. And the thing that I was not really expecting is the Thunderbirds. I was expecting to do a flyover. They did a full-on, well, it's not full-on. They did kind of a miniature air show. it turns out, which was amazing. And they did the best part, of course, they did a sneak pass. Always do a sneak pass. Sneak past. That was the loudest airplane pass I've ever experienced. Um, I nearly wet myself. It was so loud. they would. He was making lots of vapor, so he was pretty close to Mach. I don't think they're allowed to break the sound barrier above people, so he was below that, but really really close. Um, this is my view looking across the turn probably 4 of the pack of cars getting ready. Lots of that. And so the biggest problem for me as a photographer is there's so many people, you get blocked a lot. This is pack style racing, and they tend to be together for most of the race, and because they tend to be together, the thunder when they come past is amazing. I posted a short video of lap 3. I know it's lap 3 because the people are holding up 3 fingers. That's a Dale Earnhardt tribute that a lot of old NASCAR fans still do. He passed away at this track, pretty close to where I was seated, I believe. Anyway, that's enough of that. So pack style racing, Goodyear blimp, yay, Goodyear blimp. The pit lane is now empty. The little smiley face in the center, that's the pit board for my driver Kevin Harvick. Happy, as I mentioned earlier. Photos, lots of photos. Photos, frankly, I didn't take it. For me, I didn't really take that many photos. Here's a better view of the grandstand, so we could look down pit lane. I would sit as close to the start finish line as I could next time. One of the things that really kind of surprised me the most about the Daytona 500, this was not the case when I went to Circuit of the Americas, which is a road course last year. And maybe you could, and I didn't notice it. It wasn't the deal that it was in Florida. You could bring in your own cooler, your own food, your own pretty much anything you wanted. I saw people smoke, a couple people, just 1 or 2 people actually. I think they were vaping, but in the stands. It surprised me that you would be doing that. Unlike Formula One, no flares, no big smoke bombs. I still don't know how they can get those in there, but yeah, but these people would bring in these giant coolers of more than likely adult beverages, and by the end of the race, the number of people that were just hammered was amazing around us. This guy right here with the Team Penske visor, he was very entertaining. He was so hammered that anyway, he was pretty funny. His guy didn't win, so he got kind of a little grumpy after that. But don't really mind all the coolers. But then you realize that you got to get on the road with 140,000 people, of which 25% are probably hammered. So that's not a very comforting thought. But didn't notice any real problems. The track itself is 2.5 miles around, so they come past you, and then it's pretty quiet for 40 seconds, and then they come back around. So it's an interesting experience. I'm a Formula One fan first, so from that perspective, it's it's interesting because it's the biggest NASCAR event of the year, so it's kind of like going to the Super Bowl of this particular sport. Been there, done that. I don't know. Oh, wrong screen. Where have I done? No, webcam is still active. It's very confusing. This whole streaming thing. Okay, there we go. I lost my preview screen for a sec. It's an odd experience in some ways to go to an event like this. I do have a couple videos that I can share. The problem I have with the video is they're not edited. It's really raw, and so because it's raw video, it's not very good. The pre-race was Dirks Bentley. Dirks. Anyway, a little bit of Dirks Bentley. Very exciting. We did have a giant TV in front of us. There we go. There may be my little bit of redneck coming out. My boy Dale Jarrett. So we have the big screen in front of us. So good time there. Oh, it'd probably be better if I could put it on the screen so you could see it. All right. That works better. Sorry about that. I gotta play that one again. There. That's about all that. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a good one of them coming past. Yep, that's not a good one. So that's just forming up for the green-white checker. It went into overtime, if you know what NASCAR overtime is. This is the last lap. It's all blocked. Oh, that's a white flag. And then there's actually a crash on the last lap. So in NASCAR overtime, they took the white flag, and then there was a wreck, and so the race is over at that point in the overtime. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was the winner. Yeah. Here, I got a little bit of the sneak pass. Not that that does justice. Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are cool. So there will be a video upcoming in a couple weeks about my experience at the Daytona 500. I've got lots of other stuff and things that I'll be putting in there. That's interesting. Oh, it's on my phone. Yeah. I got all kinds of other footage. Most of that's on my phone though. So anyway, that'll be upcoming. If you have any particular questions about the 500, I'm happy to answer those questions. Throw them up in the chat here. I got a pretty good shot of my boy's car before it got wrecked later in the race. He was having a really good day, and then near the end of the race, he got tangled up in a wreck. So that was a bummer. Just check some chats over here. See, Archie, the ground rumbles when they're bunched up at speed. Yes. As I said, the word I used when I posted my little video was stunning. I think the short is the best probably capture of the pack sound coming by, but it's a iPhone sound, so it's not going to be great. But I would go back with a better microphone and a better camera setup. My camera that I had was not really suited for this particular trip, so that was a little disappointing. But all in all, yeah, Rumble is pretty amazing. David says, I listened to Tom Grossi trying to commentate the last 2 hours without knowing anything. He dressed up as a NASCAR spectator, a mullet and cut off jean shorts and jacket with a long mustache. Nice. Nice. I did see I actually didn't see any mullets. That's disappointing. Huh. I didn't even see cut off jean shorts and a jacket. That's too bad. When I went to the Circuit of the Americas, I did see a dude wearing a cowboy hat, um, a cut off sleeve T-shirt, I think, and then cut off jean shorts and cowboy boots. Let me tell you, it's not a good look. It really is. It's not a good. I don't recommend that as a look. I don't. Yeah, that's not so good. Archie says lots of camping at Watkins Glen. Yes, about 20,000 spectators. Much drinking starts Thursday. By race day, some are sleeping it off. Yeah, yeah. I wish Watkins Glen. It's kind of too bad. I wish they would upgrade their facility. It'd probably be $10 million, $20 million to upgrade to get a Formula One race back. But now that we've got Las Vegas, Miami, and Circuit of the Americas as Formula One races in the U.S., they're probably not gonna. I can't imagine they're gonna do 4. The fact that they got 3 Formula One races in the U.S. is amazing, and then you've got Montreal and Mexico City, so 5 in North America. That's pretty good. That rivals Europe, but the huge market of potential fans here in the United States, of course. David says, all I know about NASCAR is it has roots from booze running during the Prohibition. You betcha. Stock cars, they would the bootleggers would hop up a stock car and run booze in the trunk. That's about the extent of what I know about it. I think a lot of those guys, and then at some point they decided to, as men do comparisons of things and stuff, and they started racing on the beach in Daytona. Really hard packed sand, and so they raced down the beach and then turned onto probably the A1A. Probably it wasn't the A1A, Atlantic Highway, whatever the A1A is, and then did just they raced. So pretty fascinating stuff. Anyway, as an event to go to, I recommend it just for that reason, if nothing else. It's fun going to events. So I've been to a NASCAR road race, been to NASCAR oval race. I actually preferred the road race. I think the racing in a road race is better. At a oval race, specifically a super speedway like Daytona, the best car doesn't generally win in my opinion, or that would be my argument. The best car that doesn't get in a wreck wins. On a regular oval, the best car is probably going to win, unless there's some sort of fluke accident. So I saw another chat. Archie asks, will you try Montreal for F1 some year? I would really like to. I would like to go to a lot of places, so we'll see. Never say never. I haven't been to Montreal yet. I haven't been to Canada other than Vancouver and Victoria Island, but that's about to change. So last week, David suggested that I look at Via Rail Canada, and since then I've actually booked a rail trip on Via Rail Canada. I'm going to go from Winnipeg to Vancouver, which is a little more than like 2.5 days on the train. That train actually goes from Toronto all the way to Vancouver. I didn't really want my first, I don't know if I'm going to like it. So I split it in half and went from Winnipeg to Vancouver. So we'll see how that goes. But now I got to figure out how to get to Winnipeg, and I haven't figured that out yet. So we will be looking at. So here's Winnipeg. So I can't decide how I want to get. I have to get to Winnipeg. I might fly a U.S. or Air Canada or something to. What I'm thinking about doing is flying into Montreal. This is in April. I'm booked in April, so flying to Montreal, and then flying from Montreal to Toronto, maybe on Porter, a -8, and then flying Flair from Toronto to Winnipeg, and then take the train from Winnipeg to Vancouver, and then take Air Canada maybe back to Montreal, and then Montreal back home. So we shall see how that actually ends up getting booked out. I will probably be doing research and booking that out while I'm on the road next week. So let's see. Qatar is now an F1 sponsor airline. Oh, I hadn't seen that. Makes sense. They got money. And that section will be very scenic. Yes, that's another reason I picked that. I wanted to go through the Canadian Rockies. I've driven through what I think Winnipeg is basically north of. So this dot here is Winnipeg. Yeah. So that's the North Dakota Minnesota border kind of area. I've been to North Dakota. I've been to South Dakota. If you haven't, it's really flat. There's not a lot of scenery necessarily. The Black Hills over on the western edge of South Dakota are interesting to look at. That's where Mount Rushmore is. So I kind of figured that Winnipeg area would be pretty flat as well. It looks like there's some lakes and stuff, but I think Winnipeg, it goes up to Edmonton and then back down to Vancouver. So that should be very scenic. Porter lands on Toronto Island Airport. Yep. I think that would be kind of cool to land there and then take I don't know if Canada has Uber. I haven't really looked at that. Uber or a taxi over to Pearson and then hop over that way. So that is in the planning stages. The other thing that is booked, I have a cabin. I do have a cabin for one booked. Since I've never done it before, I wanted to have a actual bed. So, and the whole idea of a berth is a little intimidating as well. So, since we've been talking, here's the Calgary is getting delays. Newark Liberty still. LaGuardia. Orlando due to traffic volume. We were delayed when we left Orlando last week due to fog. Ontario, California. That's probably because of the weather coming in. Palm Beach, Portland, and Shenzhen in China. So last look at the chat before we move into the news that I've collated for the week. Tried Delta via Minneapolis. Thought about that. And there's a seaplane in Vancouver. It might even be electric. Might have to look into that. All right. 2 days without a berth on a train would be nasty. Agreed. Yeah, so the cabin for one looks like it even has a toilet of sorts, but it doesn't appear to have a door. I looked at a couple videos after I booked. Yeah, no door. It has a curtain, but and a toilet. And yeah, I'm not real sure about that. The cabin for twos, some of those have actual showers in them. I don't believe I have a shower, so it's part of you get to use the public shower, which that's fine. I know it's in these post big P big C era, things are sanitized frequently and all that, so I'm not really worried about that. But all right. So I saw this article, and I've been very curious about how this JetBlue-Spirit merger was going to go, and this is the first article I found that even mentions how the future of these two airlines is going to look like. So I thought I would pull it up But so the flight attendants at Spirit are supporting the merger, which doesn't really surprise me because one of the first things that is said in here. I thought. Anyway, let's just go through the article. The union representing Spirit Airlines flight attendants is throwing its weight behind the proposed merger. The Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, announced its support of a JetBlue-Spirit tie-up after reaching tentative agreement with Spirit management that would secure immediate raises of 10% to 27% upon ratification. Yeah, see, that's why. Remember, I believe that your weekly paycheck, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, however you get that, is the largest driver in employee satisfaction. So yeah, they're gonna get a raise, and so yes, I'm for it. I'm gonna get up to a 27% raise. It's a pretty good raise. The article then continues, this was a significant investment in workers and showing good faith from an airline that has yet to return to profitability in the wake of the pandemic, the union said. And then they go through some other stuff. Let's see. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. The merger, which would result in Spirit folding into JetBlue, could face a challenge from antitrust regulators. The Department of Justice is currently awaiting a court decision on its challenge of JetBlue's Northeast Alliance with American Airlines. Yada, yada, yada. Where was... Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's down at the bottom. The AFA said the merger would offer better working conditions for flight attendants, in part because it would result in the reconfiguration of Spirit's high-density aircraft to the more spacious seating arrangements of JetBlue planes. So that's what I've been interested in seeing, whether they were going to be Spirit and JetBlue or just JetBlue. It looks like it's going to be JetBlue, and so former Spirit airplanes will have Mint at some point, and maybe they'll have more Mint in the future. If you've not flown Mint, it is delightful. It's lovely. I flew on the old Mint product. I would like to fly on the new Mint Suites at some point. I don't know if that's been rolled out. This looks like an A220 up here. But yeah, I need to do that. So back to Chad. David says, if you have a solo booking, lack of courtesy, so back to the train. Still privacy from the corridor. Yeah. It's just weird. JetBlue has international. Yeah. So JetBlue, if you've not flown on JetBlue, one of the reasons that this merger is so surprising to me is the onboard experience between the two is so vastly different. Spirit, low cost. JetBlue, not really low cost per se. I don't know what you classify them. It's just kind of a mini mainline, I would call them. So they're, as much as anything else, I think they're buying Spirit's network is probably a big part of this more than anything else. So reconfiguring the aircraft makes JetBlue a much, much bigger airline. And all the people who fly Spirit who ask me about the size of the seatbelts, I don't know where they're going to fly from now on. Maybe Allegiant will be expanding. I don't know. Lower density will be easier for the crew. Yes. I think there'll be a lot less fights. That high density and the way Spirit is very businesslike. They may be no frills, but they're very businesslike, and they do not put up with much. So Hey, money team, welcome in. JetBlue doesn't have many flight options for where I live. Hopefully, this will be expanded with the merger. I agree because I now have a direct Spirit flight that'll take me to Vegas, which I will be taking at the end of March. Um, and from there, I could get into more of Spirit's network. We had JetBlue, a direct JetBlue flight from Boise back to might have been JFK once or twice a week for a while. I think that's a seasonal flight. I think that might be coming back in the summertime, but um, we'll see about that. David asks, does Spirit have a loyalty scheme? Yes, they do. Fly Spirit is, I believe that's the name of the loyalty scheme. I believe I even have enough Fly Spirit points to get a free leg somewhere in the back in the really, really squeezed in area. So if you fly Spirit, try to book a big front seat. Don't bundle, but get a big front seat. That's my advice. Alrighty. Moving on. Some more news. United and Air Canada are adding routes and frequencies. So we've talked a bit about recovery after the last 2 years. United Airlines and Air Canada in June will add 2 routes between Canada and the United States and offer optimized connections at each airline's hubs, the carriers announced Thursday. Air Canada, beginning June 1st, will operate nonstop service between Vancouver and Washington Dulles. Using a MAX 8, the flight will operate 5 times weekly, blah, blah, blah. United on June 2nd will introduce daily flights between Dulles and Calgary using Airbus A319. Members of the carrier's Mileage Plus and Airplan loyalty programs will be able to accumulate and redeem miles on these codeshare flights according to the companies. With the addition of 2 new routes, Air Canada and United will offer more than 260 daily transborder departures for summer 2023, about a 20% increase from last summer's capacity. That makes sense. I keep hearing there's a pilot shortage, though. Apparently, United and Air Canada do not have a pilot shortage. Combined, the airlines will operate 16 daily flights between Toronto and Newark, 13 between Toronto and Chicago, and 11 between Vancouver and San Francisco. The carriers will also offer a second daily flight between Calgary and Chicago and Houston, as well as one second one between Edmonton and Denver. So, if you are looking to go to Canada, like I am, this doesn't help me too much because I'm going in April, not May or June. But yeah, United and Air Canada looks like a good option for you. Let's see. David asks, will merging those schemes will encourage more use, plus it makes the scheme more valuable. Yeah. So I have a few JetBlue points as well, so I'm going to get more JetBlue points if I don't use up my Fly Spirit. I would assume I'll be able to merge the 2 programs. At least that's my expectation. I hope so. Be a bummer to have flown Spirit and lose all those valuable points. All right. Another article that I found interesting. Something else I would like to try, and I have no idea if and when I will be able to. Somebody else popped in. Sansu Samantha says hi. Hey, welcome to our weekly travel chat. One additional article I found fascinating because I would love to fly in this thing. Qantas reveals premium seats on planes that will fly the world's longest routes. So, if you had to fly for 20 hours, I don't know how many hours it is, can't remember. That would be a pretty sweet place to land, I think, for your trip. I mean, obviously this is going to come down. I think this is your bed, this is your seat, recliner. So it's like a suite for 2 potentially if you're flying with someone. That's a giant flat screen. Looks like you have a clothes hanger, maybe. Looks like a like an Apple computer. So let's read the article and see what they say. Qantas has unveiled images of new first class and business class suites on nonstop flights from Sydney to and Melbourne to New York and London. These routes which will be the world's longest nonstop flights, are slated for late 2025. Qantas will fly the routes on the Airbus A350-1000, equipped with just 238 seats, including 12 Lux first suites and 46 business suites. In comparison, Qatar has 327 seats on its A350-1000. I'd be curious about the comparison with Singapore Airlines. I've done the Singapore Airlines Premium Economy. Let's see, that's an A350-900. Yeah. So this looks like the Lux First Class Suite. David says, I think the seat doesn't recline. Finnair have something similar. Oh, so you got a seat plus a bed. Oh, pretty nice. The aircraft will have an extra fuel tank to help fly a distance of more than 11,000 miles. Flights could take up to 21 hours. So my Singapore Los Angeles round trip was scheduled for 16, almost close to 17. Winds were favorable, and I think it came in at just over 15. So 15 in a good seat is definitely doable. The premium economy on Singapore Airlines was fine. This looks lovely, honestly. Yeah, so I would not mind trying that out at all. The aircraft's business suite will have gray upholstered lie flat seat alongside a leather ottoman and a sizable wood paneled table surface. Each suite will have a privacy door. So that looks pretty good. Funny cutout here. I don't know how that would feel over time. But your feet go underneath this little wood panel area here. Maybe it'd be fine. During the 6 years that Qantas has worked on developing the New York and London routes, a project it has dubbed Operation Sunrise, the carrier has emphasized a focus on passenger and crew well-being. Qantas will configure the planes with what is called a well-being zone, which will be available to all passengers. Flyers will be able to use the area to stretch their legs, include doing stretches suggested on a digital display. Yeah, I saw a lady doing yoga in the aisle on a flight to Paris one time. That was fascinating. She was like in the back galley in between meal services doing yoga. I don't do yoga. I would probably snap into if I tried. Yeah, 21 hours on an airplane. That's pretty special. I'm sure they've already sold the booking of, God, every travel vlogger in the world is going to be on one of those first flights. Be cameras everywhere. Checking the chat. All right. Archie DJ Aviation on YouTube has animation on those seats. Sweet. I'll have to check that out. Time of flying can make it much easier as well. Yes. In my case, my Singapore flights left in the evening. So I was ready to sleep. They might do away with economy on such a long route like Singapore's New York flight. Yeah, that's very, very probable. I wouldn't be surprised if it's mostly premium economy. 21 hours in a economy long haul, that would be brutal. Noel Phillips would probably do that though. He seems to like torture flights. I can see his thumbnail with his like sad puppy dog face. You know, I did it. It was miserable. He did the around the world in 80 hours thing. He looked just completely miserable on that. So apparently he likes the misery flights. Money team, I will not watch anyone's reviews until you upload yours. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tongue in cheek, I appreciate that. We'll see. You never know. The competition to get on these inaugural flights is pretty crazy. You do usually get some sort of a pin or a plaque or something. I flew on a Spirit inaugural out of Boise, and I got a water bottle and some pins and some sunglasses, stuff like that. I did an Avelo one as well, and I got a cookie that I couldn't eat. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I we'll see. You never know. That's 2025, a couple years down the road. Maybe I'll just find myself in Australia. Of course, I'd like to be in Australia before then, but you never know. So this is the last article I've got, which is good because we're reaching. I'm trying to keep this an hour-ish. But this was weird. I didn't know that this was possible. I did know that Venice is in a tidal basin, but yeah, low tides dry up Venice canals, and I hadn't heard about this anywhere else. I was just poking around on Twitter looking for travel stuff. Oh, and I forgot to push my tweet button. Too late now. So I saw this last night. It's pretty crazy. Low tides dry up the canals. I thought the canals were a little deeper than this too. You can see that this particular one is not very deep. I don't know, what's that, 3-4 feet? A lingering high pressure weather system over much of Italy has led to a prolonged stretch of low ebb tides in Venice, leaving some of its smaller canals without water. The major canals still have water, so they're deeper. It's an unusual feeling for Venice, which is more accustomed to occasional tidal flooding by high water or aqua alta, and has led to serious inconvenience not only for those who rely on boats to travel around the city, but also to emergency services. The city's boat-based ambulances have had to tie up on larger canals, leaving workers to carry patients longer distances on stretchers. Some have reacted to the sight of the canals emptied of water and lined with accumulated muck by calling more attention to cleaning up the inner canal network, of course. Elsewhere in the country, the same high-pressure system, combined with lower than usual levels of alpine snowmelt, have lowered water levels in lakes and rivers in the north. At points, it's been possible to walk to a small island in Lake Garda. Craziness. Drought occurs everywhere. Wow, this is high pressure. The snow story sounds like more of a drought story, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. And let's see, let's check. Archie, must smell awful. Yeah, I gotta think that's really, really unpleasant. I would like to go to Venice. I would not like to be in Venice and experience Venice when it has no water in the canals. I think that would be fairly awful. Yeah, no thanks. And what did I do? So one last item. I'd like to finish with something to watch. Let me get in here.
2022 represents a new dawn for Formula One.
Turn that off. Let me get this over here. All right. If you need something to watch, I got this email today. If you like Formula One, if you like racing, Formula One Drive to Survive, they make it very, very dramatic. How truthful. I watched a video about it being a lot of crap, a lot of BS. It's very entertaining if you are at all into Formula One and racing. Whether it is real or just fictitious crap created by Netflix, frankly, I don't really care, because you're going to get some behind the scenes insight into Formula One that you didn't have otherwise. Anytime you can get some access into something that is not normally provided access with, I'm a big fan of that. So I really like the Drive to Survive. I recommend, if you've not watched any Formula One, it may make a Formula One fan out of you. I think that's part of the reason that Formula One is more interesting to a lot of people in North America, I will say. I'm pretty sure it's because of this documentary series. So if you've not watched any of it, I would start at season 1. They don't really. I mean, this is last season, so if you know anything about Formula One, you know who the champion is and all that stuff and what happened. You know the broad strokes, and you get some different insights in here. So I recommend Drive to Survive. Unfortunately, my wife likes this. I would probably binge this on the road this week, but she likes it, so I'll have to find something else to binge. Maybe I'll do Breaking Bad again or something. But yeah. So anyway, that's my fun TV show of the week. If you don't like racing, I'm sorry. You probably wouldn't like it. So let's check the chat. Archie, IndyCar will doing some reality TV this year. That's good. I think. As I said, I think this Netflix series, whether you think it's real or a lot of crap, a lot of fictitious, made-up drama, I think it's done wonders for Formula One's popularity in North America. Oh, you can see on that you can see my mouse. Look at that, the little figure eights. Alrighty. I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Any last chats? Please throw them up. Please put them in now. I will be signing off and going to my end screen here in just mere moments. So thanks for coming in today. As I said, I will probably be scheduling a video stream for next Saturday morning because I am traveling all of next week. And that way I don't have to bring all of my streaming gear on the road with me, which at this point I don't really have a good setup for the road. So, all right. Well, I'm going to end it there. Archie puts lots of butts in the seats. Yep. That is the goal, is it not? Everything is about making money. Show me the money. Anyway. Yeah, I'm all done. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. And again, remember, next Saturday, I will be posting a reminder sometime during the week. And at least I'll try to remember to do that. Maybe I'll do that before I leave. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, I think same time, Archie. We'll start there and go from there. So maybe we'll be moving to Saturdays from now on. Anyway, happy travels, everyone, and see ya.